And that's why we're in the position we're in.
Dr. Paul Hutchison.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity to speak on this Taxation Annual Rates and Budget Measures Bill, Part 1 and 2, that deals with the title and the commencement. Firstly, the title is totally appropriate to ensuring the viability of the KiwiSaver and Working for Families scheme. And secondly, the commencement is also totally appropriate and well signalled to the people of New Zealand, who will have their opportunity to decide on the 26th of November, and I'm sure will resoundingly do so. Mr. Chairman, I noted Moana Mackie said, why would the first piece of legislation be about adjusting KiwiSaver? Well, I just happen to have here a graph that shows the extrapolation of what would happen of spending under a Labour government if it continued in the same way it had done so pre-2008. And what it shows is that government spending as a percentage of GDP would balloon to 60% by 2023. And that's the reason why this legislation is part of the government's wise and pragmatic and prudential agenda to ensure the long-term sustainability of the KiwiSaver scheme and the Working for Family scheme, both of which are adjusted, as I say, in a fair and sensible and intelligent way, particularly Working for Families. We had Heather Roy the other day making the point that why should she, as mother of 5, be eligible for significant tax credits when she was on a salary of $125,000. And if one looks at the Working for Family adjustments, they do indeed favour those that are less well off and do curb the generosity to those over the $100,000 mark. Mr. Chairman, I noted that Chris Farfoy talked about the Save the KiwiSaver campaign, but little does he realise or have insight as to where the New Zealand economy has gone under the auspices of the failure of the previous Labour government to be prepared to save at the appropriate time. And I was fascinated to read in the Herald this morning that people like Owen Glenn, friend of the Labour Party, who said, look, it's about time that Kiwis started to show individual responsibility, that adult Kiwis are given all the opportunity through generous health, generous education systems, and that they must learn to spontaneously look after themselves for their retirement. Here we have a scheme that, despite these minor adjustments, will still mean that the government assists with billions of dollars per year into very, very generous incentives to help Kiwis save. We also heard Claire Curran and Dr. Rajan Prasad saying the government was making it up. Well, the government certainly did not make it up when we realised that under Labour the public services increased from 26,000 to 39,000 with almost no, in fact I think it was a decrease in productivity. When in health we saw a doubling of spending from $6 billion to $12 billion and absolutely a negative increase in productivity with waiting lists up to 130,000 and culling of those lists. In the last 3 years, of course, Mr. Chairman, we have seen an enormous increase in productivity and an increase in elective surgery up to 400 extra per week. But the government did not make up the fact when Labour increased the top tax rate to 39 cents in the dollar loss attributing qualifying companies flourished throughout New Zealand and totally distorted our tax system.
Sir William CO.